Let's get a Sleep Number endorsement. That's
I was going to say, but I didn't think we could say that. So,
not yet.
Purple Pillow.
I'll take it.
Those
Whatever,
are nice.
man.
Those are nice. I like the Purple Pillow.
Is it?
That's
I was
nice.
looking at those. I'm not even lying.
Nice.
What
about you
Dad
guys?
tired connection?
What?
Dad tired?
Dead tired?
What are we
Mattress?
doing?
Purple Pillow match. Guess who's about to go put their head on a Purple Pillow? This guy.
Okay, I'm keeping all that in there. So
Wait, are we not done yet?
Doing the sign up. Welcome back to Football with Ben Roethlisberger. My name is Spence, and I am joined here, as always, with Jared Lopes and two-time Super Bowl champion. There he is, Ben Roethlisberger. Both you guys on your devices. Come on, guys.
I'm like
We're trying to shoot a show here, guys.
like Adam Scheffner. I'm getting constant updates, NFL updates.
Hey, well,
I wasn't ready. Sorry.
Yeah, let me be the first to welcome you back, Ben. Welcome.
Oh,
welcome
thank
back.
you.
Yeah.
I know you've been in my house more than me in the last
Yeah, that's true.
week.
Yeah. So I'll update the viewers and listeners. This is week 2 of the NFL season. Ben has been gone for
Since Tuesday.
Yeah, I would say out of town. You've been out of town since Tuesday. It is the Sunday night, the 15th. After
What day is it?
yeah, and it's like almost 10:30 at night. Ben just got back in town. Legitimately walked out of your car, down to the basement, sat down, and then I pressed that button, and this is where we're at now, guys.
Well, hold on. I did bring my wife's luggage in first.
Well, that's because you're a good husband.
Yes, and because I know she'd be coming down here like, hey, can you get my bag? You packed it so heavy. Anyone else have a wife packs a really heavy bag?
I do the measurements. Like I give her down to the pound. What
You
her
put it
bag-
on the scale?
I've got like the luggage hand scale.
Look at you.
Hey, my wife's bag would break a hand scale. I had to tell, when you get someplace, you're like, hey, careful with that bag. No, not because of the bag, because you're back.
Yes, yeah, buddy. This is for you.
But yes, you are exactly right. You guys both have been in my house since 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, something like that.
Well, I got here and started setting up, and then Jared made his way over
Yeah.
and watched me set. He did your job.
He
He watched me
you
set up as I was getting these
Yeah. So yeah, it literally got out of the car, drove back from Syracuse, New York. So about a 5-hour drive. Which is why I have a nice bearded iris IPA here, because after this show's done, Daddy's going night. But yeah, it was. I had to listen to the game. My wife had it on the phone. Was listening to it, so I kind of was like, peek over every once in a while. Safety first.
Of course.
Listen to it. So we can definitely get into that. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind since Tuesday.
Yeah, you've been kind of all over the place. And this episode, we got a lot of really cool stuff. Like Ben said, we're going to cover the, I would like to say, dominant win over the Broncos. We're going to dive into that. There's a lot of really cool things I think we can talk about there. We're also going to talk about some NFL news. We got other stuff going around the league. A lot of stories developing I'd love to pick your brain about. But like you said, you've been out of town. You've been doing some really cool stuff. I think it'd be awesome to share that with the viewers as well. So we're going to be doing all of that here in this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are not already, go ahead and follow at Footballin with Ben on Instagram and stay up to date everything we're doing. With that being said, let's jump in to the Steelers win. All right, 13-6.
Wait, Spence, before we start, this episode is brought to you by.
Don't do it to him.
Okay, no, wait.
Don't do it to him, man.
Go ahead.
You know we ain't got no sponsors. You know this.
Okay,
Help.
go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
State Farm, help. Who's throwing money? Doritos.
Doritos would be nice.
Dude, I'm telling you, listen.
I like
sidebar.
Doritos. What's favorite chip? Not favorite. I can't say favorite.
Favorite flavor?
No, Dorito is like just the nacho cheese. Dorito is
Old school.
Old school. If I eat a sandwich, I might gotta have a Dorito with it. I
Is it
love the
Dorito?
crunch. I love the Dorito, but I won't put the Dorito on the sandwich.
Oh, I'll
My
get
kids
down
do
with
that.
that.
I just don't do that. What's the
My
chip?
mother-in-law is. Well, anyway, my favorite. She reintroduced me to Fritos chili cheese.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know people. Frito is like I had a Frito the other day.
Frito plain is like, what are we doing?
The chili cheese. The whole Ito's family is awesome. The
But the
Fritos,
chili
Doritos,
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
It's got to be the chili cheese.
Yeah, I can't eat it.
I'll say
my mouth goes
Frito
numb.
Frito is a chip that will really make your mouth dry.
Yes.
I'll say it, and I hate to be the guy to do it, but I'll do it, guys. Fritos is trash. Fritos is trash.
I don't like Fritos at all.
The
except
normal
chili
corn.
cheese.
Right, listen, that's fine. But you had to add something for me to even entertain the idea of eating it. Doritos, best one, hands down. That isn't like the new flavors. There's one, it's a purple bag. I don't remember the flavor. That's amazing. It's kind of spicy. It's Cool Ranch Dorito. Everybody knows it. It's the best Dorito of all time.
The blue bag?
The blue bag.
No, see, Benjamin loves that one too. I don't.
What is blue? Like Cool Ranch?
Cool,
Yeah.
brother. I just said Cool Ranch. You don't like.
When he said blue bag Dorito, I stopped listening to.
Come on, man. You're over here living nacho cheese like it's the 80s, cuz.
Listen. I really want to get into football stuff, but since we're talking
He's
about
got a story about when I was in high school. I got a story to tell. This is how I start. Okay, so this is just so you guys
Jared's
know.
Corner.
This is Jared's segment. We're going to start every
Jared's
episode with a
Corner.
story from Jared's past.
We're
I was choking on a Dorito one time.
We're talking about food, so I have to listen. I was flying up here today. I was going to Panda Express in the airport.
Oh, that's a bold move.
Yeah.
Bro, I've had a lot of bold moves food-wise. Like 20 minutes ago, I was pounding a spicy chicken sandwich, which I
He had a buffalo
feel like
chicken.
I'm going to regret.
Yeah, he
here in a
might.
few-
Hey,
few
listen,
minutes.
Really? You guys went to dinner? and you had
Jared might get benched in the third quarter of this one.
Jared
If you
disappears.
see
We
me
know
just
where he's
running
at.
down that hallway, dude.
Buffalo chicken is a bold move
mute the
before you
mics.
start a podcast.
Okay, speaking of bold moves,
All right, go
I
ahead.
hit. No one I know likes Panda, so I hit it while I was going to the airport by myself. Anyway, wait 20 minutes. I'm standing in line for Panda, picking out all the things I want to get.
Not very express.
I go through it, get all the things I love, finally have my meal, open the carton, go to take my first bite. As I grab the fork up, giant hair
That's right.
running all the way through the food, through the chow mein, through the rice, touching the orange chicken.
Good for you.
So did you take the hair out, throw it on the ground?
I need
and
to
keep
know
eating?
I need to know what you would do.
Like truthfully.
Truthfully,
Well, it's I've never had that happen at Panda Express. I'll be honest with you. I'm just being completely honest.
Due to the sheer fact I don't go to Panda Express.
Not that I just have. I don't know
Yeah.
that I love Chinese food. I just
Yeah.
don't ever have Panda
That's
Express
not really
in the
Chinese
airport.
food. Yeah, it's-
But I just take it out and keep eating.
you
Yeah.
would.
Little dust off.
Don't bother me.
5-second
What
rule.
would you do?
just get what would I, with the hair?
Yeah.
I think it depends on how hungry I am.
Yeah.
If it's a normal day, I'm throwing in an airport. I'm throwing away. I told you my Panera story. I'll never eat at Panera.
Yeah, I can't eat at Panera either because
Yeah.
of what you told me.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. I won't share that story. Yeah, I think
Panera, new sponsor.
Yeah.
Panera. Yeah,
You can still- you can still
Cut
sponsor
this,
us.
cut them off the list.
Yeah, unless you want to give us money, Panera, in which case that is my favorite establishment. My goodness, have I had a better sandwich in my life? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm throwing that thing away. I'm going to be honest with you. Here, you know what I mean?
I threw it away.
But because
You
you
guys are
have
too
to,
good.
you have to consider the context of it. Airport. It's like an express at Panda Express. It's an EPE. That's an express
All right.
Panda Express.
I mean, yeah,
Dude,
I don't enjoy it like if it's in my mouth and I have to pull the stick. That's
yeah,
not
nobody
fun.
enjoys that. I don't think. I don't
That's
think
not
anyone.
the fun part.
I don't think anyone.
quick floss sesh while we're eating.
Unless you ordered that. Is that was part of the order?
No, what I'm saying, I love my wife, and I know for a fact she doesn't watch this show. No offense.
I don't think any of our wives do.
My wife doesn't watch
My
either.
wife doesn't know what I do for a living. Yeah.
But if I find one of her hairs in my food, bro, I'm not eating the rest of the meal.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can't do it. I
could
can't
do
do it.
I could do it at home. I could do it at home because at home you're like that's one of us. It is what it is. I'll just pick it out and keep rolling.
Yeah.
But, like-
that doesn't. Yeah.
No, dude, I threw
you
it
got,
away.
like-
And I went and stood 20 minutes in that smash. What's that smash burger place?
Smash burger?
No,
Burger?
no,
Is that what it's
Burgers?
called?
no, it's like-
McDonald's?
it's super popular.
Oh, Shake Shack?
Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Shake?
Yeah, you can't miss a Shake
weird.
Shack.
Yeah.
So this segment's brought to you by Shake Shack, redeeming airport food since
right.
2002.
Wow. You guys are different.
What you talking about? You're the one eating the hair food.
Yeah, y'all are not real tough.
Well, you know that. Look at me, bud. No one thought I was tough. Okay, no one's not like, yeah, he'll make it through.
I need to hear. Listen,
Well-
I need to hear in the comments though who would eat hair in the food
Right.
because I need to know if I'm like the oddball.
Listen,
out.
no.
We're
Oh,
not eating the hair.
Eating the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's check that. You just said who's eating hair. I just said I was eating the hair.
Yeah, you're not eating. You're picking it out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pick it out.
Hey, whatever kind of nasty you're into, bro. Do what you do.
I'll agree. It depends on where I'm eating too.
All right, let's
All right.
let's
What are we doing?
let's talk about football.
Let's get out of Jared's corner.
Yeah, well, and that was Jared's corner, folks. Little if you want to get to know Jared better on the show, that's every show will start something
I
with.
appreciate it. I got a lot of stories.
All right, so 13-6 was the final score. We walked away with a win. Again, I expected nothing less. Lots of stuff I think to talk about, though. First thing I'd like to throw at you, Ben, get your take on, because we haven't got to touch. Typically, we would touch base while we're watching the game. If I'm not over here watching it, I'm usually texting you, having you explain stuff to me in real time. Of course, you were dadding and then driving, so I didn't get to do this. So this is first take for me as well. I thought, watching it, the defense, per usual, looked dominant. Is that something you think is solidified our identity as the defense here in week 2? We can predict this moving forward, or do you think we just won the day? What was your take on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense?
Domination. I thought they dominated flat out. Though we'll get into offense, get into quarterback play, but we have to start with the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, please.
I'd want to hear your thoughts. But when I was watching, I heard them say something like the Steelers gave up 16 points in the first 2 games, which they said was the first time they've done that since 2007 or something like that.
Probably, and that's great defenses. I mean, that's what you expect. That's what's going to lead this team, and why this team is going to be good is because of the defense. It has to start there, and they showed it last week. They showed it this week. I part of me wants to I want to pump the brakes a little bit on giving them too much love because of kind of where they went. I shouldn't say where they went, because you go on the road and win, it's huge. But who they're playing against. I don't know how good Denver is yet. Okay, they've got a young quarterback who I really liked at Oregon in Bo Nix. He's been struggling a little bit the last 2 weeks. Now, did he struggle today because of how good the defense is? Probably. But so I'm kind of wanting to pump the brakes, but yet I'm not pumping the brakes, because what I saw today from that defense was a pass rush on the outside that gets home. Alex, TJ, Nick, Herbig, whichever one. I forget which Herbig it is. Nick. I always do this. Which is Herbig. The outside pass rush creates pressure, forces a step up. Then you've got Cam and company pushing from the inside. I thought the secondary played well. Obviously, a huge interception in the back end by, I believe they said, I'm listening to it, not getting to watch it, but a rookie that just came in, I believe, because someone got hurt like a play before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's a rookie this year or was a rookie last year.
You're talking about Trice, who was a rookie last year, got injured.
But he's injured, so he's still first time getting in the game. Great play. Coming off the backside, no one's in his zone. He jumps the back, goes up. We talked about this before. Defensive guys aren't known for their hands necessarily. Some are, but some aren't, which is why they play defense. Goes up, makes a great play. Turnover in the red zone. I felt like the only way that Denver could do anything today was either by penalty, which wasn't real often, but penalties will happen, or there was a busted coverage late in the game. 3rd or 4th down, it looked like we were doing some sort of a blitz or something happened, and we left a slot receiver open. They gained 15, 20 yards, whatever it was. That being said, I felt like that was the only way they could do anything. I mean, it was, to me, a total domination by the defense, all parts of it, from top to bottom, side to side. And the Steelers will go far with this defense. All you have to do is have a competent offense that doesn't turn the ball over, which we saw again today. We can talk about it, and we will talk about the offense. I don't get too much in. It wasn't flashy, wasn't special, but they did what they were supposed to do and not turning the ball over and ride the wave of that defense. Again, I want to pump the brakes, but I can't, because what I saw today was awesome.
Dude, honestly, it felt like the identity of Pittsburgh. It felt like one of those things. Big shout outs to Smitty, Alex Highsmith, phenomenal. I thought, especially early on, the sack, the pressures, TJ obviously being what TJ is. But it did feel like quintessential Pittsburgh. And I'm like, dude, at week 2, I am definitely here for it, especially for all the talk that we had about, a lot of these guys not playing in the preseason. And, we do have that first week that we kind of kick the rust off of things, get things going, man. But
I thought maybe we would see that today a little bit more from Denver, trying to run the ball. What we talked about last week about that's kind of what Atlanta did. And we talked early on about them being more physical. And I think that's sometimes how you can protect a young quarterback too, is quick passes, screens, run the ball. Our defense didn't. I mean, again, not going back and watching the film or watching it close. Maybe if we do or people break it down, they're like, well, there's a little bend here, some of this here. If I'm Pittsburgh right now, as in the fan base, which that's what we are, I'm extremely excited right now with what I saw today.
Yeah, and you'd mentioned that, Denver not being able to do anything except for maybe on a penalty. There was that one thing late in the game when I think Minka bit on the fake and left the middle of the field open, and that was like their big splash play. That's the only thing I can remember the Broncos even doing and getting any real yardage. Yeah. But moving to the offensive line, it was a question we had coming into the season. I thought they played really well, except for that one drive where Broderick catches 3 penalties, man.
Three and 4 plays, I think.
What? And then he obviously gets pulled out, and then Troy gets put in.
We call that benched.
Yes.
Pulled out. That was very nice of you, Spence.
I'm trying to listen, brother. This man's still doing his job. He's doing his job.
Hey, it happens.
But I'm curious on the field here because you're driving, and it was a decent drive. A lot of stuff got pulled back. Some big splash plays got pulled back. Obviously, we're still trying to figure out the identity of this offense. What does that feel like when you're out there on the field, man? When you see something like that, it's taking away big yardage plays.
Yeah, it's tough. I can't remember the last time that I saw 3 big penalties by one guy. Mm-hmm. I've been a part of drives or series that there's nothing worse than a touchdown getting called back. That's happened plenty of times. But it's the best feeling one of the best feelings in the world of football is when you have a big play, it gets called back by penalty. That's not the best feeling. The best feeling is when you then the next play or a play later, you make it up, right? Sure. You get it back. And I used to tease linemen when that would happen. We'd go score a touchdown and be like, hey, I know you're upset right now, but you just gave us more yards of total offense. Great job.
Helping them stats good.
But that was frustrating. They kept when big plays are getting brought back, especially with this offense right now, big plays are going to be at a premium. You need them. That's how you're going to make things happen because right now this isn't a big splash play team right now from what I saw. Now you've got a dude that's out there making some splash plays, and we'll talk about him in a second. But anytime that you get something called back by penalty, it's extremely frustrating. And then 3 of them, Tomlin calls them all the time. They're drive killers. Drive killers are penalties, holdings and things like that. And so I know he's going to be frustrated. I think what the best thing for Broderick right now is to just sweep it under the rug. Let's watch it, figure out why it happened. What was it? Technique? Did the guy just beat you? Because you know what? That guy's getting paid too. He's a pro for some reason too. So sometimes those things just happen. He just flat out beat me. And coach will say, listen, you got beat. It is what it is. Like, we don't want that to happen, but sometimes it happens. So that would be the key. He needs to go back and watch it, figure it out, check the technique, check the skill, check what was it, get it checked off, put it behind him. Because if you sit and dwell on it, and I don't know what coach is going to do moving forward, but if you dwell on it, it's just going to build up, and then you're going to end up being more in the dumps. You're going to be more frustrated and whatever it is. And so he's got to put it behind him because he's got to be ready to go back in, because whether coach wants him to go back to being a starter or he's the next man up because someone got hurt, he's got to be ready to step up and be the dude.
Like outside of that drive, I thought the offense was doing a lot, not just the offensive line, but the offense as a whole. I thought something that I would love to see more of, and I don't know why you do it. Maybe you can, or we haven't done it. Maybe you can explain this. You did this very early on in your career. You'd mentioned we got to do out there that is making plays in George Pickens. We don't necessarily have a number 2 dude. We got a lot of really talented kind of slot guys that are quick, have good hands. But we got a tight end room that I think could be one of the better tight end rooms in the league. I mean, I think Pat Freiermuth is an absolute animal. He caught that one joint. I mean, really Justin dropped that perfectly.
On the run left.
But then you got Darnell Washington. This man's 11 feet tall. Like what are we? And yes, he's a blocking tight end, but he's got hands. He can move. And if a corner's on him, it's what are we doing?
Well, I'd like to, I definitely want to talk about the tight ends. I want to go back to the line again because I know we talked about Broderick there for a second, the penalties and how frustrating that can be. All in all, again, I'm saying this without seeing it or watching it under a microscope. Not that I would, but what coach would do. I thought they played well today. I thought I thought they were physical. Today, I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers put their will on the Denver Broncos. Running the ball, Naj ran like a madman today. 17 carries for 69 yards. I thought he had a $120 the way he ran. And because his 69 yards, the other team felt like it was 150 because he was running with anger, with physicality. Jalen Warren, 9 for 42, 4.7 average. Justin Fields, 8 for 27, 3.4. I mean, we're doing what we had to do. And Justin is known. When Justin was in Chicago, he was known the over-under on him for 100 yards every week was over because he was going to do it. He hasn't even had to do that yet.
Yeah.
So think about when he does need to go do something, what's going to happen. So I thought the line did a great job of being physical today. You're always going to have some negative plays. I thought they protected really well, even when it wasn't necessarily a completely clean pocket. I thought the pocket broke down after some time. It wasn't like guys were running free and Justin had to make a miss. There was one early on, people say, well, there was a guy, it was an empty set, no backs. A guy came off Justin's right and Justin ran away from him and picked up 10 yards. Right. So someone will say, well, that was a guy coming free. Actually, no, that's a slide protection. They're sliding away to pick up the people this way. That is an unblocked guy, intentionally unblocked. So you either throw hot off of him or you got to do something like he did. He ran away from him, picked up 10 yards, whatever it was. I thought the line did a really good job today. I don't know how good Denver's rush is and what they have, but all in all, I just wanted to go back. I know people know I have a soft spot for the line. But I know. But tonight, whatever you want to say in that game, I really thought I would strongly consider them one of my top 3 candidates for a game ball. So I'd like to say that. Getting into the tight ends real quick, I think that we had talked about this early in the season that we thought the OC Coach Arthur Smith was going to utilize tight ends. That's what he likes to run the ball, play action, tight ends. Didn't get a lot of that last week, so it was exciting to see what was going to happen moving forward. By the way, they found Coach Tomlin's hat.
Oh,
I don't know why I just thought of that, but they
never
found,
too far away.
Hey, Coach, we got to find a hat.
We thank the people for that.
Yeah, it's you guys. It's all of our millions of fans around the world. It's because of you that we found the hat.
Yes.
But anyway, tight ends. Pat had an amazing catch, a couple real nice big catches, catch and run. The one on the sideline that we talked about, Justin rolling to his left, dropped it over the top, great catch. And then we've been clamoring for Darnell Washington to get some more work. He's, like you said, he's huge, known as a blocker. They split him out today. He ran a patient fade where he took his time. A lot of times guys want to just go. He took his time. Justin threw a great high back shoulder ball, and the big fellow adjusted, made the catch, got the touchdown. And that's what I wanted to see down there because we talked about last week, the red zone, their issues. They got down there a bunch, couldn't score. They get down there today, they score a touchdown. That's what you want to see. Now, they didn't put a ton of points on the board, but at least you're starting to see some different options. So now when you get down there, you've got running backs, you've got different receivers, you've got tight ends now, and you've got the threat of a quarterback that can do different things too. So I think they're really starting to explore and open the playbook up, and I think I hope you continue to see that moving forward because what we have at receiver right now in that guy is pretty good.
Yeah, you were talking about guys who, if you look at their stats, they don't match the impact that they had on the game. I was thinking that with Pickens today, that you look at his stat, what did he have? 2 for 29 yards. But I'm like, it seemed like he had more of an impact on the game than his stat line.
That is yes. You are 100% correct. Like that's the same thing as we talked about Naj, right? I felt like Naj ran for 100 and some yards. Right. That I had no idea that Pickens' stat line was 2 for 29. I mean, he affected the game in ways that you can't always see. We've had guys in the past that have done that. They may come out of a game with no catches, but they forced a safety to go over top. They forced someone to be watching them so that someone else was open. We talked about this year the concern potentially of only having one star receiver, right? Who's your number 2? I know there's some guys out there, Van and Calvin and stuff like that, but just because there was talk of Brandon Ayuk trying to get Brandon Ayuk in here, and so I was concerned because George is, I think, a really good wide receiver. We've talked about on the show. I know I got on him a little bit last week for not blocking, but I'm gonna sing his praise tonight because he affected that game. He only had 2 for 29. he accounted for over 100 yards because of penalties. And it could have been 150, maybe 200 yards. I mean, he got them into situations to get points. People can't stop him.
No.
And so what you're going to have to do, and they had Patrick Surtain, I think the second or the third, like traveling with him. And he's a really, really good DB, and he still couldn't stop him. I thought they did a great job at one point early on. They put George in the slot, which is an unusual position for him. And sure enough, it's hard to put a guy, a traveling corner in the slot because that's a different position. He catches like a 14-yard gain or 10-yard gain right out at the gate. So moving him around, genius. Finding ways to get that guy the ball, because when you put the ball in the air, he's going to come down with it, or he's going to get tackled and you're going to get the pass interference penalty yards, which we saw today.
Yep.
The deep ball that Justin threw on the run to the right that got called back because of the offensive penalty.
Dude, I was so
unbelievable throw, unbelievable catch. At some point, teams are going to have to start putting two guys on him, a corner and a safety cheating over, and that's when you affect the game outside of your stats. Today, he affected the game outside of his stats. He may be in that locker room like, man, I didn't do anything today. And I would pull him aside, or I'll tell him right here, right now, you affected that game more than you know.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it's interesting, man, because we didn't have Roman Wilson, dude out of Michigan, right? He's not back
Still
yet
not,
either.
yeah, still
and so I think he's kind of going to be the dude that they probably anticipated being your number two over there. I'd love to see, because he was an absolute beast at Michigan. I would love to see what those two look like. I would love to see the utilization of more tight ends, man. Like, based upon what you've seen in these 2 weeks of Arthur Smith's scheme so far. I know that's something going into the season. We were like, well, we don't really know a whole lot. Like, we watched them at Tennessee, successful, but it's hard to fail with Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Like, and we've seen what he did at Atlanta. But have you seen a scheme that you're like, you know what, this is a really interesting identity for Pittsburgh offense, and it has the potential to be as dominant as we in the city expect it to be?
I saw today a team that was physical, that let the line dominate, let your big physical back dominate, that still took some shots down the field. Opened it up. I thought they opened it up more today than they did last week. Again, Justin's stats, nothing crazy. We'll talk about them, but 117 yards. Are you impressed? Probably not. You know what I'm impressed with? No turnovers.
There you go.
I'm impressed with efficiency. I thought he ran the ball when he had to. He did some really good things. I know we'll get into that more, but I thought today was stats might not be what you wanted them or what you thought they were going to be, or they were a lot different than last week. But this offense, if you put this offense, what we saw today, with the defense we saw today,
come on now,
watch out. And again, I got to be careful because of Denver, but no, what I saw.
Yeah, I will say this, man. The one thing that really gave me hope, and I loved for this year's team, man, is there was I think it was like a 7-minute drive ending in a touchdown. And I think the challenges that we've faced historically is that we couldn't keep our defense off the field, right? And so, yes, they were lethal, but they're still human, right? And so at some point in time, and you're out there for that many times, and if you get 3 and out that many times, your boys are just going to get run down. So I love seeing the sustained drives. Obviously, I love seeing the scoring drives. The only critique I probably had with Justin Fields' play was I felt like when the pocket started collapsing, he's taking his eyes away from downfield, and he's choosing to run soon. I know we mentioned that last week, I think we did. But I'd love to see him because I think he's got the arm strength to do it, and he obviously has the wherewithal. I think as he gets more and more comfortable, I'd love to see him as he starts scrambling out to keep his eyes down the field and make some of those throws because your guys like
he
Pickens,
did today. He did the one today. That's exactly what we're talking about.
But that's what I mean. Instead of just tucking and going immediately.
I want to hear all your thoughts on Fields. That's like I'm anxious to hear that. But we coming into this week, it was such a big storyline was Russ.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they just keep cutting to him and he's suited up. And I don't know what you can speak to, but just the feeling of like everything, his storyline coming into today and being there.
Yeah, that had to be tough, right? Because last week we're like, he's going to do everything he can to get out there. And I'm sure he did. I think I heard someone, I don't know if Tomlin told a reporter or how it went, but something like, we don't want to turn a small thing into a big thing, which is smart. And so I can't imagine the flood of emotions that Russ had probably driving in there to the stadium, getting out of the stadium. Probably saw some, you see that the security guy working the tunnel you saw every week. You see grounds crew. You see, the people on the staff in Denver. And so had to be emotional because I know he probably wanted to be out there. I'm sure that he was doing everything he could to get this to get this win, because even if you're not out there, if your team beats your former team, that means something. So just super happy for Russ. Like I said, I know he would have liked to have been out there to have the ball in his hand at the end and whatever, but it's a big game for Justin to go out there and probably, those guys are working. When you're in that quarterback room together, it's like a small fraternity together. You guys are doing it for each other, and I'm sure at some point, he felt good to get that for his boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking about, Russ, but you're talking about the quarterback play in general. You mentioned a little bit about Bo Nix, but let's kind of like hone in on Justin Fields, man, because I do think the biggest thing that I'm holding it up to sing Justin's praises is 2 consecutive weeks of no turnovers. You know what I mean? Because you cannot do anything cute and still win a game when you don't turn that ball over, right? You cannot get great stats, but he was consistent, which is awesome. He turned plays that I felt should have been negative plays into 5-yard gains, and I'm like, that's what I want to see there, man. So what did you see there?
Yeah, I mean, I thought coming in today, I thought you hit the nail on the head. He didn't turn the ball over. Would you like to see 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown? Of course you would. But you know what else you're going to be happy with? You're going to be happy with the guy right now that wasn't even really supposed to probably start this year, going 2-0, taking care of the football, making plays, sometimes out of nothing when guys are getting in there or he needs to use his legs. He's going to use his legs, and he's another running back there. He's huge. It's not easy to bring him down, and so far I like what I've seen. I like that he's getting into it. I like he's getting the feel of it. If you had told me they're 1-1 or 0-2 and these are going on, I'd say, yeah, we got to do something. But again, he's not turning the ball over. They're 2-0. Big test this week with I think the Chargers are coming in town. It's to me, if Russ is healthy, I'm sticking with Justin.
That was my next question.
I know. I said it last week I wouldn't, but what I saw today, I think that he has earned and deserves the right to stay there. Because again, I'll say this, because if Russ is your starter, why not get him back 100? Why bring him in at 85, 90, 95%? If you can rest him for another week, 2 weeks, give him a chance. I know that's not what Russ and people that are Russ fans want to hear, but in my opinion right now, he has not turned the ball over. Even if they were 2-0 and his stats were just okay and he's had like a turnover or two.
Yeah.
Like I know there was a bobble snap today, but I don't think he was even ready for the snap.
No, he wouldn't even look.
So that's not on him, and they got it. But I say that he's had a turnover or two, and you're just like, oh, we can't afford those. We got lucky that we still won with a couple turnovers. We got lucky with some really bad quarterback play. No, we didn't. He's been efficient. He's been good with the ball, and I know he had one today that people say that could have been intercepted, but it was high. Man, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas in the league. He didn't. So I think it's got to stay with him. I really do, and see what happens.
How far do you get into a season, especially when you're winning, and it's like, or to change it up now, we're going to throw off something that we got going.
Well, you could still change it up now. Mike could go back to it's only 2 games in.
Yeah,
I mean that's how I first got in. Tommy hurt his elbow, and it wasn't a season ender, but we hadn't lost. And once you get into a rhythm and you get good things going, you don't want to mess that up. Now, if you have like a kind of a clear cut, like if Patrick Mahomes goes down, you listen. As soon as he can get back, you're getting him back in there. But right now, I think it's like, let's not mess up the rhythm of the team and what's going on. And I think they're building. They look better this week than last week. If they continue to build, I think that's the move. You stay with it.
If you were on the coaching staff, what are you telling Fields right now? His stats aren't crazy, but he's winning games. He's not turning over the ball. What are you looking him in the eye and telling him?
I would tell him the only stat that matters is a W. and the turnovers. And you're winning the turnover battle, and you're winning. Don't worry about what people are saying in terms of yards, in terms of touchdowns, in terms of all that. You're winning. That is, at the end of the day, as a quarterback, that's what you want. I didn't always put up big numbers, but I prided myself in getting wins. And that's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. You're supposed to win football games by any means necessary. And that's what he did. Now, listen, there's going to be people out there that say, oh, he didn't do it. The defense did it. Agree, the defense did do it. But he didn't hurt the team. He didn't put them in a bad situation that the defense had to bail them out. So I say he's done a great job.
How long is that leash? Like, obviously we expected Russ to be QB1, and we're kind of fighting for his health. But to your point, we've established a rhythm. And how long is the leash? Do you get one bad game? Do you get a game that you win but get 2 turnovers? Like, at what point in time you reevaluate? All right, well, that was Justin's shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the game. When I say the game, how did he play? If we go out this week and he plays really well and we lose, okay, what was it on him? Did he play well enough to win the game? Maybe I don't foresee this happening. Maybe the defense didn't play well this week, or maybe there was a play or two that something happened, or what was the reason for the bad game? So I think we would have to evaluate it as we went. If they're winning, again, if they're winning and he's not he's not turning it over, and the defense isn't just bailing him out, then I think you ride with him.
Yeah,
I do. That's just my thoughts. So I know there's a lot of Russ people out there that and I know he's QB1, but right now I think I assume the Russ people and all that are like they're going to take a win.
Yeah, sure.
Most importantly.
Sure. Yeah, and obviously I would imagine Russ wants to be out there playing, but I'm sure he likes, he seems like a team guy too.
Yeah, he's happy for wins.
So let's do this, man. As wrapping up the Steelers section here, general overview. Is there any other thing you want to hit on? Any highlight? I know there's a couple specific plays we could dive into if you want to do that. I do want to move around the league to some quarterback play because there's a lot of news stories.
Yeah.
I want to give you the chance to kind of wrap up your thoughts on Pittsburgh.
No, I mean, I think we talked about the most important things, like Tomlin's hat. Boz doing it again. I mean, typical Boz.
Typical Boz.
No, I don't think if something comes to my mind, I will. But we hit the defense. We can talk about defense all day. Tight ends, Pickens, running backs running hard, quarterback play. I'm happy.
It was the first time, man, that I felt like, okay, we got a cohesive unit, man. Like this, like you said, if we can continue to build, this is going to be something lethal. So, go ahead.
I grew up in the Bay Area, Stockton, California, Lodi, California. So my mom ended up taking me to Raider games growing up.
Yeah.
So that was the culture I grew up in. So obviously been following Derek Carr.
Okay.
And then he jumps over now. He's with the Saints. And he just obviously
I heard they went nuts today.
Yeah, that you can be a Raider fan from anywhere and know that we've been struggling for a while.
And you can't say we anymore.
Yeah.
They
were struggling for a while. So then he jumps over and now he's, like today he just crushes it. Saints crush it. Like what I'm curious from your perspective, how much what's happening organizationally? Is it just not a good fit in the organization? Obviously it's not a talent issue. Dude shows up and he balls out.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders won today. They beat the Ravens.
That was the second story that I wanted to
The Ravens are 0-2.
Your boy Gardner, man.
Gardner Minshew. Well, that's where I would start. And I don't ever want to talk bad about players because that's not what we're on here to do is talk about about players. But I would say typically, he went 30 of 38 for 276, 1 touchdown interception.
Yeah, it was a nail biter at the end.
So, but I would say to me, when you're building a team, you're trying to build it around a quarterback. I thought Derek did good things there. I don't know. I know there were some issues with the coaches and there was some butting of heads and this, that, and the other. I like Antonio Pierce. I think he's a good coach. I think he's really got that Raider Nation. Like he fits. He loves it. Mm-hmm. I think that at some point they're going to be looking for a stud quarterback that's going to be their quarterback of the future. And nothing against Gardner. I don't know that he's that. Maybe he'll do something special and become that guy. But yeah, I just think that Derek Carr left there under some really weird situations and circumstances. I think they've got one of the best receivers in the game, Devontae Adams there. Yeah. But what Derek Carr did today, I was in Buffalo and we were talking about it at my son's golf thing, so I didn't get to see a lot of the game. But when I saw the stats, it looked like Kamara went crazy and everyone went crazy on on the Cowboys, and it was just Saints look real, like 2 weeks in a row.
It's kind of sad, but did Tom call that game? Was he?
I don't know.
Did he do that because the Cowboy and Saints game?
I don't know.
I wanted to see
Fox
how he did week
I don't
2.
know. They were on him a little bit last week, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing he did. I don't know.
Other quarterback I wanted to talk to you about has been making headlines this week, man. And, unfortunately not for his play, but it's been Tua down in Miami. Obviously, he gets this concussion. It's his 3rd concussion in 24 months. As somebody who's had their fair share of injuries, like this is a unique situation in which the league is now deciding whether to come in and ask him to retire. Like,
Yeah, I don't think they can make him retire.
well, yeah, what is that? What is that situation?
That would be I don't know how that. I don't think. I know the questions have been asked, but I don't. That maybe is a question for someone that's more knowledgeable. But I don't think you can make someone retire.
as the league you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think that can happen. If it can, I'm mind blown by that. But it's sad. We've talked about on this show before, head injuries, how real that is. Because that's, as we've said here, that the brain is the one thing you can't get a new one of. At least as far as I know. I don't know what else is going on out there, but I feel for him, especially because I didn't think it. When you think of concussions and big hits that knock people out, you think about the helmet, or the helmet, like the whiplash, right, hitting the ground. When I saw it, I think he just hit Damar Hamlin, who was crazy enough is the one that hit him.
Yeah.
Like it's like he hit his chest arm. Like it wasn't. And it crinkled him up, but that wasn't. It shouldn't have.
I thought the same thing.
Been that.
I didn't. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look like a gnarly impact. Granted, I've never been on the field, but I do think when he fell down, he was running. I mean, boy was running full speed. I think he fell down and hit the ground too. Man, it was.
But I think he hit the ground because he was already knocked out.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
That would be my guess. I mean, so my concern is this. I would always tell him to be very smart. I will not tell him to retire. I'll tell him to do what he feels is necessary. I believe he is a man of God. I think he should pray about it, talk to his family about it, make the best decision for him and his family. He's still young, and talking to some of the most amazing doctors that have ever been around that we have here in Pittsburgh, that are world renowned, that people come to, from Dr. Okonkwo, Dr. Maroon, Dr. Mickey Collins, the best neurosurgeon and concussion doctors in the world. I've learned a lot about the brain, the concussions, and kind of what it means when you get one, and being able to come back from them. And I would say, not as a professional, I have had concussions, but not as a professional, I would tell him to do what he feels right, like I just said. Seek the best help you can find. You got paid a lot of money, and you have teams that have a lot of money. Go find the best doctors that in the world, which I think are here. I mean, I would come here and check with Okonkwo and Mickey, but I think as a non-doctor, I think he should take time. Not a week, not 2 weeks, like maybe the rest of the season. Give yourself some time to really evaluate, to get yourself reset, to make sure that you are completely clear. Don't just push it. I know as a competitor, you're going to want to get back out there as soon as you can, and so you push it. You push the line. You tow it to see how soon can I get back out there. But I'll say, young man, it's not worth your life and what could come of it. Now, am I saying to retire? No, I'm just saying take your time. Wow. Make sure you're very certain about when you want to come back.
Yeah, we were just talking about Antonio Pierce, head coach of the Raiders, and he's quoted here. He said, "I'll be honest, I tell him to retire. It's not worth it."
Do they play him next week?
Keep him out. He said, "I just think at some point, I'm quoting here. I just think at some point he's going to live longer than he's going to play football. Take care of your family." Again, that was Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, I don't disagrey.
It's a pretty dope quote, though. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, but again, at the end of the day, he's making the decision with his family, with prayer, and we'll be praying for him. Whatever happens. I would be concerned, and I haven't talked to these other doctors. I would love to pick the brains of Okonkwo and these guys to be like, hey, what do you think? Yeah. I'm sure they're going to say, well, I don't know his specific what's going on, but like just to get an understanding of what they think, because they obviously are the professionals. But I just, if he went back out there in like 2 weeks, I would be a little concerned to be like for him to be out there that
What's
soon.
the protocol?
All you got to do is pass. Well, I shouldn't say all you have to do. You take baselines, and you have to be symptom free, and there might be some sort of because he's had so many in a short amount of time that they may say you need to do more. But we all take baseline concussion tests every year, and so
That's
you got to get it figured out.
the worst part of the sport is obviously the injuries, man, and like none of them are ever good, but the head ones are always scary, man.
Of course. I mean, the NFL does everything they can, has done everything they can to make this game safer, to the point of it being almost soft. And we've talked about that, and other people talk about it. The way they protect the quarterbacks in the pocket hits, the way that you can't drive them to the ground. I was with Michael Strahan this week, and he was talking about how soft the quarterbacks league is in a way that
he liked hitting people.
He did. His quote, as we were sitting in a group of people the other day talking about back in the day when we played, he literally said, he goes, my favorite thing to do was to hit a quarterback and then land on him. He not like driving to go, but land on him. And he goes, you'd hear him go, and he said, I literally felt like the life just left their body. I'm like, Mike, that seems really kind of like crazy.
Hey, brother, you need a hug?
Yeah, like what's going on? And he says with like, the big Michael Strahan smile and the happiness. I'm like, are you all right?
Hey, man.
So
Were you
anyway.
guys are alone in the room
yeah,
together?
let's-
When you're talking?
Yeah.
It's like, you're sitting there like, Mike, I'm a quarterback.
I was that guy. Mike, you got me too. So anyway, I'm not trying to make a lot of light of it, but when they changed the kickoff rule, all of it's for player safety, and I get it. So maybe they'll step in and just maybe not tell them to retire, but force the team to sit him for a while or something. I don't know.
Did they have the Guardian caps when you were there? Okay, what do you think about that? And are you aware?
I don't
of the
know enough
impact?
about it.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, it looks goofy, but at the end of the day, when I switched helmets, I wore one specific helmet for a long time, and then it's like, hey, we're gonna start switching helmets to something that's safer. And I was like, I don't want to change helmet. It looks funny in this, but then you get to the point where like, I don't care what it looks like. I want safety.
Yeah.
So that Guardian cap, I know the people that wear it claim that they really like it. I just don't. I wouldn't want. I don't know if it's what it weighs on your head. Like that's what I wouldn't want. I don't want the extra weight on my head or on my neck and shoulders and everything. So again, I don't know enough about them.
Because you played when there was like just the leather, right?
Yeah, no
The
chin strap, no face mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you watched the UFC. Did you get a chance to watch UFC fights?
No, I didn't. I was
The
flying.
sphere.
Was it unbelievable?
It was crazy. It was really.
How did Sugar Shay? I was going to ask if we were going to talk about it.
I was going to pick your guys' brain on it if you watch it. The reason I brought up the UFC though is I was looking up because they can't, if they get knocked out, which is, I guess slightly different than concussion, but they can't.
No,
fight
that's still a concussion.
They can't even trade for 45 days. Train.
Really?
45 days is just like.
That's like their mandated.
Yeah, that's their mandated.
Well, I mean.
People said the fight was boring. To answer your question, I stay up, dude. I grew up on the West Coast. Fights would start at 7 p.m.
That's the best.
It was the
East Coast
best,
is terrible.
dude. We'd have friends over. I tried to have friends over when I moved out here to the East Coast.
No one wants to
Fights
stay.
started at 10. I was like, dude, go home.
But you're not watching the main till 1, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Exactly.
It's miserable.
It was
I
so
know.
miserable.
I don't. Ashley will be, if we watch it, Ashley will be like, hey, can you wake me up when the main one
Yeah.
starts? I'm like, if I'm awake, I'll wake you
Layla
up. But
too. I sleep in between, and they put like 30-minute commercials in
it's
between
awful.
every fight.
I always get excited when like the early ones, like it's a quick knock, and I'm like, yes. But then they still
you
end
still
up,
gotta
they
wait,
still gotta
yeah.
wait.
No, but they say that. So I fell asleep. I never fall. Usually I'll wake up and like watch the end. I couldn't. I knew
I checked the next day. Like I was like excited to like look. Well, next day. That's today, right? Today was the next day.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I am so.
I know.
I went from West Coast to East Coast in a day. It was unbelievable. Like exhausted. Which I know
You
doesn't seem
forgot
like a
what- you
big
forgot
deal.
what you were talking
No,
about?
I was gonna say I picked up I looked at my phone. I was like, he lost. I was like,
Yeah.
holy cow! Like I thought he
Everyone was betting for him.
really good. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not as proficient in it as you are, but I was gonna say like he felt like kind of one of the better pound for pounders right now.
Yeah, he was champion. He was favored to win. Like
Yeah.
everyone was expecting him to win. But I will say, like just from a visual perspective,
Was it
was
unbelievable?
insane.
What did they have on it was inside the sphere.
Yeah, so it
what
was
was
really
in it?
it was really like a nod to the Mexican heritage. So they would do these like, I don't know, 1 to 2 minute like documentary style short films on the screen for the
Really?
fans, like
pretty
highlighting
dope.
some historical
That's crazy.
Mexican tradition or heritage thing. And then they would put like one of the guys, his backdrop, it was the Mayan ruins.
Yeah.
And so he's fighting
In the
and
Mayan.
behind him it looks like a legit Mayan ruins city behind. And
Did
it
it,
goes like all
did
the
it
way up.
feel like when you used to play Mortal Kombat and you would be in all those different backgrounds?
That's exactly
Probably the same graphic, like the
Right.
same.
You punch somebody through the ground. And it was like, dude, I only saw pictures of it. I didn't watch the fight. I remember texting you, like, hey, dude, you're going to watch this fight. And we would do fight nights here, but we would get to the first couple. We'd be like, all right, get some wings. We'd chop it up. And then we'd look at each other like, 130,
we
man.
don't like this one or
Who's fighting the
not?
main event? Like,
Yeah.
we don't
Do
even
we
care.
really?
Right.
We
Go
really
from the
wanna do
biggest.
this
I've
one?
had friends fight in it, and I'm just like, I was like, bro, you better.
Hey, did you see my fight? Dude,
Yeah, I did.
Dude, so
I watched
good.
it.
I swear, it was so good.
But the visuals of that, all the announcers were like, they need to do every single fight here because it was crazy. But if have you ever wore the Apple Vision Pros?
Just the Oculus is that the same thing?
It's different.
He's an Apple fanboy over here.
it's
He's an Apple fanboy, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, feels like the Apple Vision Pro if you've ever been in that.
Yeah.
Which
Apple,
yeah,
if you'd like to sponsor Apple Vision Pro, if you want to sponsor us.
I'd be down with that.
You ever had this thing? No. You're missing out.
You're missing out. You ever had hair in your food?
It felt like you were eating and all of a sudden you found hair in your food and it was like, oh, wow, what an experience.
Hey, do you have any other questions? Or what? Not that like no other questions. Like I'm not saying we're done with everything, but
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
why?
Like, well, I was going to say because I was going to just quickly talk about my trip to California.
Well, it's,
yeah,
it's
quickly.
funny you would even ask that because
How
my next
long? 'Cause
question
I'm
was, yeah, my next question was about that. Not, I said that funnily, but I was serious.
Sorry, you
Funnily.
can funnily.
Funnily.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
funnel
yeah.
cake.
Funnily said it.
I was funneling it in.
We don't edit anything here, folks.
Gosh, as if you thought you couldn't sound
No,
more dumb,
more stupider.
more stupid.
Yes, I was out in California. I was out with the Crew Cup. We talked about it before. Once a year, the golf event that we do. Michael Bennett, you're the man. And we were at Pebble Beach this year, which was awesome. What a special place. Shout out to Ryan Smith. An epic battle he and I had. But anyway, I don't need to get into all the crazy details other than it was fun to be out there. Love the golf. Love all the guys that were at the Crew Cup. It was so much fun to hang out with a lot of the guys that were there last year, guys I know. New guys, like new friends every year, get a couple new people. Getting Strahan out there, I got to get him involved with it this year, who's a friend of mine. I got to see Larry Fitz again, Coach Jason Kidd. Big ups to him for getting the finals last year in the NBA. This year is the year coach. Got to meet coach of the Utah Jazz, Will Hardy. We had a great talk. Actually, I forgot the one night we had a great talk about like faith and chapel and his players. He's got a good group of young players that are Christians, but they're trying to like figure it all out and everything. And so we talked about like team prayer before and chapel and all that kind of stuff. So he's doing some really cool stuff out there. Of course, we got.
Isn't it?
Was it?
That one? Here you go.
Well, yeah, Larry was there.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge.
Hey.
Danny Ainge was out there. It's good to see Danny again. But my boy JJ, Josh Jurgensen.
There you go.
My two new guys that I got to really hang out with a lot this week. I was super excited about getting to meet them and hang out with them. Because not because they're like two of the biggest names on the planet, but because they're two of the coolest dudes on the planet. And it was verified this weekend because I spent a lot of time with them. Tyler from Dude Perfect,
Hey.
and who is crazy, by the way. The things I probably can't even say. I'm not going to say on the show because he told me some of the things he's about to go do, and it's like they're wild. So I can't talk about
He's
it.
doing
kind of their
trick
thing.
shots while he's golfing.
That's kind of the thing.
Very wild stuff he's going to be doing.
He's a freak athlete.
Great golfer.
Yeah.
Great dude. Great Christian. Good hunter. We talked a lot of hunting. He said he would come on the show.
Hey.
So if he doesn't, then we're no longer friends. Ty, you hear
Delete
me?
the number.
No, he's not. I firmly believe he'll come on. He's such a good dude. So much fun talking to him, hanging with him, sharing deer pictures and all this stuff,
Nice.
whatever. By the way, I hope I might get to go see him when Benjamin goes down to Texas for his golf thing. But we can talk about that next.
The foreshadowing.
Yeah, the foreshadow. And then the arguably the funniest man on the planet right now, Nate Bargatze,
Yes, sir. So let me.
who is
Your golf
absolutely hilarious.
team was you, Tyler from Dude Perfect, and Nate Bargatze.
We were all on the same team. Yes, there were 16 of us on the team, and we were 3 of the 16.
It sounds like a setup to a joke.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, I can't think of Nate playing golf.
He's a good player.
No, I believe it. But he has that joke about when he was golfing.
Yes.
And he was taking his shirt off in the parking lot. And
I
that
don't know
guy,
that joke.
you haven't heard
I've
that?
heard the one where his wife took the cart and he had to use only had his driver and she took forever to come back.
He's like putting with his driver. No, but he has
hilarious.
that joke where he's changing. He's like taking his shirt off, and some elderly man drives up, and the elderly man thinks it's his wife. he's like, I don't know this is more offensive to you, like me or your wife. Like,
He has got the driest. I mean, the way what you like when you see his shows,
yeah.
that is him. Like he'll say something and like a couple times, like I feel like I can like read people and I have a pretty good sense of humor myself. Like he would say things at times and I was almost not most of the time, but every once in a while I was like, wait, is he serious or not? Like I couldn't tell.
Hey man, we need a code word to let me
He
know.
is like, but he's just funny. Like he did like a 30-minute little thing for us all.
That's so
at
funny.
dinner.
Yes.
Where they were like, they asked him, he's like, sure. Like he wasn't even like prepared
Just
for it.
on the spot, gave a comedy show.
Gave and he's like, I'll try some new things on you guys. And so he just did this, and he was funny. He'd like have his funny, like comedians are funny, like they have their phones, you know. So he's like, all right, I'll try this one on you guys. And then he would like go, but you know, his jokes aren't like 3 guys walk into a bar, you know,
Yeah, they're
like
like setups.
No,
Yeah. They're
it's like real life like type
Right.
things, and so he's got to do the whole thing. But he is so funny. He said he will come on the show, whether it's here or we go to him. So looking forward to that too.
That's so fascinating. They just put him on the spot to tell some joke. Like
Entertain
you're
me,
funny,
clown.
tell some jokes.
What we said is because he was a rookie at this thing,
Oh,
so it's like his rookie show.
little
But
hazing. There we go. Yeah.
But it was it was so much fun to be around those 2 unbelievable men of God and fathers. I asked him, I said, listen, can y'all just come on and talk about being dads?
Yeah.
Being husbands? Like that's all we're trying to do. Let's give these guys some wisdom.
Yeah.
And so they were all for it. So it'll be really cool.
Yeah, that would be great shows. And speaking about being dads, man, were you caddying?
No, I didn't have the caddy.
So you left that event, and quickly you mentioned the Crew Cup. Could you explain what that is for people who might not be familiar with it? So it's a golf.
Yeah,
thing.
it's a golf event where there's like 32 guys. You have to have a low handicap, and basically they split the teams up into 2 teams of 16, and you play against individuals. So team Tony Finau, your cousin, he's Simone, team Tony versus team Akshay. Those are the 2 pros. They pick teams, and we would play against each other 4 days, and you get points if you win. If you split, you get half. And at the end of the whole thing, it's whoever wins gets these cool trophies and this, that, and the other. And so it's a battle. It's a grind. I mean, you're playing and you're going at it. So it's just I got invited to it last year, and then got invited back this year. And it's one of those events. It's like a major. Like if I can only do one trip, it's this because it's
Are
that
you
much
allowed
fun.
to say who won?
Well, no, we know. Actually, not. We're not allowed to talk about who won.
You got to be invited, Jared. All right.
Can't talk about it.
It's like Fight Club.
Can't talk about it.
You know what I mean?
So, and how many professional athletes are in there?
Well, there's probably like 12 people that aren't like business people, but of those are like coaches. There's like coaches, and then I guess Nate Bargatze would call himself professional athlete probably. Ty would call himself professional athlete. There's 10 guys maybe.
Is it fun? Like, is it
So much
super
fun.
competitive?
Super competitive. Each Strahan went. So I got. I talked to Mike Bennett, who runs it all, and he's always like, "Hey, if you ever have guys that you think would be good, like let me know." And I'm like, "All right." And I started thinking like, "Okay, Strahan's a good golfer and he's a great dude, because you're with people that you got to be able to mingle with people too. And I think a lot of times you, as athletes and people, when we get around people, we naturally almost go into a shell because it's just what we have to do. But when you're with these guys, they're all so normal and everything. They're just like cool. And it's usually the same guys every year too. So you just get to know them, and they're all very successful business people and whatever. But you just get to be around them. And they just are normal guys. And so I was like, Stray, come on, or I asked Mike if Stray would be a candidate, and so he's like, yeah, I mean, I'll look into, I'll talk to him, whatever. And Mike came up to me, which I expected. I was like, hey, Stray was a hit. I mean, he's awesome. But my point in saying that is Stray was like after the second day, because we played as partners or played together in the same group. He was like, this is like really serious. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like people are trying to win this thing. There's trophies. There's
bragging rights.
Yeah,
bro.
it's crazy. But it was shout out to Tony Finau. It was his birthday. His the crazy thing about that is, so Tony's, as we're just connecting all these dots, Tony was the captain of the team that somehow won. They cheated. But his son is 12, plays golf, and is like 6'2", 230 as a 12-year-old. Okay,
that's Polynesian genes, bro.
Yes, he is actually Samoan and Tongan.
Oh, best of both worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had awesome talks about some of my teammates and friends that were, Chris and those guys. But anyway, I know people are like, I'm delirious, people. I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place.
Ben's been awake for 74 hours.
I'm all over the place. Yeah. But I left California on Saturday, early afternoon, lunchtime, and got up to Buffalo last night. Not Buffalo, gosh, Syracuse. Isn't Buffalo and Syracuse the same?
They wouldn't say that.
No, I know, sorry. Yeah. He gets mad at me. More people are mad at me. Got up there at like midnight and then got up early this morning because Benjamin was in a golf tournament with his PGA Junior All-Star team. And if they won today, I know people, trust me, I'm getting there, people. If they won today, they had like a double match. If they won, they go to the finals in Texas.
Okay.
And there it's like just 12 teams from around the country that compete for the title of like PGA Junior All-Star champions or something.
Okay.
Well, Tony's son and his team that he coaches is already there. So awesome. Tony was like, hey, y'all got to win so that you can come to Texas and we'll play, against them. So I texted Tony like, see you soon, big guy.
Run it back, but it's all the sons.
Yeah. What are you gonna do now? But hey, dude is a golfer. Like, Tony, obviously, really good golfer. But it was a lot of fun to be at both places. But that's why I'm delirious. And so Benjamin and the boys and Taylor, we have one young lady on our team. Sorry, ARP was out there like that, but sorry. Won today, and so just super proud of them. And the kids have so much fun, and they're cheering and jumping and running all over the place. So it's really cool. So they're super excited to take they get like a week off school or something.
Really?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I would have started golfing if I could do that.
I would have kept kicking if that would have led me.
You've all lost some mic, Spence. We've all lost some mic.
Hey, bro, that's all right. We have replacements.
People won't be on a mic.
I keep talking about this, but you're such a good coach as a dad. Like, I don't mean to keep tooting your horn here, but we were sitting here and you were like coaching Benjamin on his swing.
You said I was yelling at him.
Yeah,
I'm using coach publicly.
I was yelling to him.
Coaches yell. Do you have a desire to is coaching?
I listen. I love
anything
kids.
like coaching anything.
Say it. Break the Pittsburgh internet. Say it.
I am going to coach basketball this year. 6th grade basketball. I'm the assistant coach again. I don't like being the head coach.
Obviously.
6th grade assistant.
Not qualified.
What else? No, I like to be the dad that kind of coaches at home. And I hate to call it coaching. I like to just be there at home and be a dad, watch them play games.
I think good dads see themselves as coaches.
Well, yeah, for sure. Listen. I saw a dad one time, and I was like, "What's up, coach?" He goes, "No, I'm not a coach. I'm a dad." I said, "Exactly, exactly. That's the same thing." So I totally what you said is spot on. Every dad is a coach, in my opinion. But Yeah, just but in terms of sports coaching, I like doing it in the car afterwards or whatever. Now Benjamin and I will work on stuff, but not like that. But I do. I love kids. I have a PE degree, and I make up some awesome gym games.
I believe you. I believe you.
I love how we just brush past. Yeah, I have a PE degree. Can you imagine?
Well, it took me 13 years.
Well, PE's hard. You know what I mean? You got to get the run the miles.
Dodgeball's not easy to figure out dodgeball.
Can you imagine you sending your son to a school, right? If in 5 years Ben's like, you know what, I'm gonna put this degree to work. You send your son to school. Hey man, I got this new gym teacher. He's making us run. He's making us do all these Oklahoma drills.
This guy's doing these quarterback drills. It's so weird.
I need to talk to this gym teacher. And it's him. Like, you know what? That's my bad. You do whatever you need, coach. All right. Can I get you a Gatorade?
Yeah. So it's been an eventful week.
Dude, and all those guys, I'm just thinking my mindset. I was telling Spence earlier, this is like taking a total tangent here that we don't need to go down. But I was telling my
welcome to football.
Par for the course.
Yeah. My son is 13, and I had him when I was 23. So I'm like, theoretically, I could be a grandpa in 10 years. I told Layla that the other day, and it just like she was like, "Don't ever say that again." Like that just blew her mind. That
well, it's because she'd have to be a grandma.
Right.
At that young age.
She would be a
not
grandma
happy
at
about
such
that.
it feels like we were, anyway, but I was thinking like these young kids would come up and you could be their PE teacher. They wouldn't even know. Like,
that is. We're getting to that point where a lot of the younger kids don't remember.
Would you be the grandpa where you're like, man, back in my day, I used to be like Uncle, what was that? Uncle Rico from
Uncle Rico?
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, Mr. Ben.
But you know who would be talking about used to be a good kicker.
Yeah, that guy.
Dude, I feel like kickers
Gramps
are stealing the 2 weeks in, and I feel like kickers are just
kickers are.
And I'm
Kickers
just
stealing the show.
I'm regretting.
So outside of Boz,
everything.
who's the other kicker?
Bucker just
Appreciate
won
you
it.
put me on the spot like that.
Sports is my.
I wasn't writing down their names.
So Bucker won it for Kansas City today.
I heard.
What was crazy though, to save you from the kicker thing, is bro, Tucker missed 2 today
No way.
from over 50, and I was like, Boz would have made
Boz
it.
doesn't miss from over 50. What are we talking about?
Boz would have made it.
What are we talking
But that was wild to see. I don't think I've ever seen him. I was watching a Ravens game and watched him miss.
He has the
doesn't
record
happen.
for the longest. Am I thinking the same person? Who also missed
tied.
2?
He might have tied it.
He did. He got one from 70 in warmups.
No, I don't count.
That's what I mean.
That don't count.
No.
I can
I
throw
feel
it out
like
of the
they
stadium
said he's got the record for the longest, but he missed 2 from over 50. I could be making all that up.
No, I feel
he's
like you're right too that he might have he might be tied for the longest. I don't know if he might have it. I don't know.
He's lethal. He's no Boz, but he's lethal.
Yeah, he's good.
If only somebody had a way to search this.
I know.
Like
we
if there
should
was
figure
this
these things
thing
out.
where all the
Crazy.
information lived, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. You got to see a jam.
Got to see him golf
Yeah.
and have fun with that. He just loved. He said tonight, Dad, I love golfing. I said, good.
Yeah, he's
Good.
pretty good at it too.
Good, buddy.
Yeah, pretty
So-
good, man.
Did you find it?
Yep. Matt Prater, Cardinals, Harrison Butker. Chiefs tied 62 yards.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's your answer.
That's the longest.
It's the long
62?
63. I don't know why these are in not the right order.
Ben, you might need to read that. You might.
66, Justin Tucker, Baltimore Ravens, 2021.
There you go.
Seems,
I thought he
it seems higher than 62.
Yeah. So what's
I should have stuck
what's number
with it,
one?
guys.
62 or 66?
Jared's over there like,
I'm running the numbers, bro.
it could have been me.
I was saying
Minus
25
4,
yarders,
carry the
15-year-old
3.
leg.
Yeah, I think 66. As I was doing the math,
Try it again.
66 is longer than 62.
Yeah, because you
Listen,
have
I have no
so-
control of how Google
Plus the-
lists their why they
you
go
carry
from.
that one.
or carry the one
To the
divided.
third power.
And well, that X equals
I appreciated being part of this show.
So
and the square root of
yeah,
no
for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah,
66
yeah,
would be-
yeah.
Yep, we
Yes.
got it. You're right.
Like
Yep.
I can
about
keep
it.
going lower, actually. 60. You want me to read all
No,
that?
we're not.
No,
it's
we're good.
working.
We're
No,
good.
we're
Yeah,
good.
we're sure numbers usually go one way or another. So,
Well, I'm glad we figured that out.
hey,
'cause that
Spence,
was-
you know what they say now?
What's that?
Time to land the plane.
Let's land that plane. Hey, well, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like every week, let us know what we missed on the
or
Steelers.
don't, because we probably missed a lot.
Yeah, it's. Unfortunately, the comment section won't cut you off. So, let us know what you guys saw, what you guys liked for the Steelers, or if you got any other NFL news that you guys want to hear us talk about. Drop it in there in the comments. We'll go by. I did have some fan questions. I'm going to save those for next week. We got a whole bunch of fan questions. So if you submitted some of those, we got them. We're organizing them.
Ooh, I can't wait. I love fan questions.
Yes. Do you remember when we did that? I was talking to 2.0 the other day, and I looked up. We did an entire fan-fueled episode one Halloween.
Those are fun.
We're going to do another one of those.
Let's do it.
This year, we're going to do another fan-fueled episode where you guys get to ask Ben questions the entire show. So we'll get that organized. We'll let you know when that is. Until then, next week, we're going to do some of the ones that you guys did on Instagram. So if you are not already, go ahead and follow at Footballin with Ben on Instagram. You get a chance to do stuff like that. Stay up to date with what we're doing. And again, I want to plug, if you are new here, Jared over here to my left, your right, has a podcast called the Dad Tired Podcast.
I thought you were going to talk about my kicking career.
Yeah, no, you can't find that on Google.
Can't find that anywhere.
You can't find that on
Find
Google.
it anywhere.
Not
a yearbook.
Ask Jeeves, Bing, Yahoo. You can't
I'll
find
reach out to my school, get some
Nowhere.
data.
Nope.
Get some evidence, you mean? Yeah, so he has a podcast called Dad Tired. There's a lot of resources. Obviously, we talked about some fatherhood stuff here tonight. Jared does that on a daily basis. So if that stuff interests you, if you're looking for that stuff, I cannot recommend that enough. We are blessed to have him here on the Footballin Family. But go check that out, Dad Tired. Go check out some of his resources. I'll link his book below. It's the first book I think he wrote. He's got a couple of them out there, but they're awesome. So go check that out as well. Other than that,
I will say, let me just since
go
you're
ahead.
talking about Dad Tired, we've had Ben on the show twice on the Dad Tired, and those I thought were incredible conversations. Really, you did such a great job at like just talking at a very deep level about your role as a husband, father, follower of Jesus. So if anyone is interested in that, those were fun episodes.
Thank you.
Go to bed.
dude, Ben is losing it right now, dog. Okay, hey, we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.
This episode brought to you by Bedtime.